Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
Kurt 916, getting down with a fresh out Prison Talk. Breaking news, Tory Lanez stabbing, and new evidence coming forward from a witness that was there. The driver for Megan Thee Stallion says that Tory did not fire the gun. This new evidence can justify Tory getting a new trial. And with an attempt on his life, he's not safe in prison. They're looking to move pretty fast on making things happen for Tory Lanez. Check it out.
After over 2 years in prison without incident, Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Megan Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, Tory was nearly killed. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. Let's stop treating this like some cultural war flashpoint. This is about a man, a father, a son, Daystar Peterson, who has sat in a prison cell for over a year based on a case that wouldn't pass the smell test in any honest courtroom. The prison system can no longer guarantee his safety, and that alone should be grounds for immediate action. But combine that with the overwhelming evidence of a botched investigation, and this becomes not just a legal issue, but a morale emergency. Tory Lanez deserves a new trial. He deserves due process. He deserves a pardon. And if justice still matters in America, he deserves to go home. So what now? What do we do now? We're all here today. We are calling on Governor Gavin Newsom, the California Attorney General, and the public at large to act. If you believe in due process, sign the petition now on the Caldwell Institute page that Gianna Caldwell mentioned at change.org. Let your voice be counted. Let the system know that we see what's happening and we won't stay silent. We can't be a nation that claims to value justice but looks the other way when a man is buried beneath the weight of political motivated prosecution. Dr. King said again, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. This is that threat in modern day time. This is that moment. Daystar Peterson deserves to go home today. And we, the people, have a duty to bring him home. Thank you.
So Tory Lanez is currently serving 10-year sentence for shooting Megan Thee Stallion, born Megan Pete. The legal team alleges she lied about what happened that night she was shot. Tory Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, his legal team has presented new evidence. News conference was held by United the People, which is a nonprofit, and they're hoping this new evidence can set Tory Lanez free.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case.
So Tory Lanez was stabbed by convicted killer, inmate doing life. 14 times he was hit. Now, a stabbing like that in prison is, I would say, pretty calculated. Somebody gave a green light, and it being a hit from a Mexican to a black, I would say some other people familiar with Tory possibly knew about it, because you won't normally see something like that go down unless it's in a riot type situation. To be vulnerable like that, and somebody like that in prison usually has people around him. You know, you're kind of looking out. You're at a spot where you look over your shoulder. You know there's shit going on. You're not just going to be open like that to something like that happening, you know, without your guys around you. And I would imagine somebody like Tory had certain people that were kind of looking out for him. But it just seems pretty fishy, man. You know, his evidence coming forth, and then him being hit, you know, right after this all coming to light. So who knows what's behind all this, man. You know, luckily he survived. I mean, you know, 7 times, you know, and then in the face, and you know, the thing about a knife stabbing is when it punctures, it's not like a bullet that goes through you. It puts a hole in you, and you know, it does a lot more damage, you know, to your organs and stuff like that, because it's ripping stuff. So depending on what he got hit with, man, it could be it could be very fatal, man. Very fatal, and it's up close and personal. When somebody hits you like that, they got to be up on you. That's physical combat. It ain't no riding by in a car shooting at a distance or pointing a gun from a distance. That's getting right up on somebody. Um, yeah, they say they think that it's time. Enough is enough. They're saying. You know, apparently, they're saying attorney Walter Roberts spoke about Lane's innocence and said the rapper never fired the weapon, and that it was Megan's former best friend, Kelsey Harris, who shot her that night. Harris fired at Megan 3 times. Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down. The gun fired 2 more times, In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched him. He never fired the gun. The statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw two women fighting, claimed Walter Roberts. There were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun he added. Tory Lanez doesn't want special treatment. Diana London, the CEO of Secret Weapon Agency, also firmly believes evidence suggests Lanez is serving time for a crime he did not commit. As a woman who worked in Congress on criminal justice reform, I deeply believe in law and order, she said, but I also know the legal system without integrity is no justice at all. When we get it wrong, when our courts fail the people they're meant to protect, we don't just ruin lives, we erode trust in the rule of law itself, London said. You know, I want to know why they were so hell bent on getting Tory Lanez in this situation, but Megan's friend, they gave her a pass. Why were they so hell bent on Tory Lanez? You know, why did they want to railroad him so bad? Why did they have it out for him? And you know, the driver who wasn't available at the trial, but now is saying that, you know, he wants to come forth. I wonder if there could be a countersuit, you know, for Megan for lying. You know, because she ruined this man's life, man. Um, there were multiple people with gunshot residue on their hands that night. Why didn't all individuals have the residue tested, the DNA tested on the weapon? That's a legitimate question, according to Tory. According to the prosecution, Tory was excluded from the clip of the gun, and according to Tory's defense team, they said DNA analysis showed that there was a 0.01% chance that Tory touched the actual gun itself, Caldwell said. He also explained that his co-ed explored the reasons behind Harris pleading the Fifth Amendment in the case. She wasn't accused of anything by Megan, Pete, or the police, and to my knowledge, she wasn't under any investigation. So why plead the Fifth? Yeah, why did her friend plead the Fifth? What also shocked me is the prosecution gave her immunity. For what? What did she do? Is there an allegation of her doing something? I'm not aware of that. Maybe some of you can answer the question today during a time trial, he added. So he's saying, like, why was she given immunity? Tell you, man, even with a paid attorney, man, you can get screwed in this game. Your best chance at winning anything in court is representing yourself and learning the law. Because these people, man, they take a paycheck and who knows what they're cutting this behind closed doors, what kind of deals, how they're, you know, doing these backdoor bargains. Scandalous, man. Hopefully all this comes to light. You know, Tory is, you know, giving justice, you know, in the situation, and we find out why her friend was given immunity. Why wasn't she tested for gun residue, DNA residue, you know, DNA on the gun? Why wasn't she brought forth? What excluded her? A lot of questions to be answered. Leave a comment, share the channel. Let me know what you guys think about this whole Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion situation and the stabbing. Was it a hit? Obviously, it was a hit. They tried to kill the man. But who is behind it? That's the question. Who gave the green light? Because this was a Mexican and a black situation. It wasn't black on black. Somebody had a talk with somebody else and they allowed this shit to happen. Big Kirk 916, fresh out.